Let's go. I got big dreams, I'ma do big things. Yeah, you see me on the big screen looking so clean. I don't move slow, I move fast, right past anybody taking life for granted, yeah, that's too bad. I'd be grateful for everything that I have. You only got this life, you don't get it back. Make the most of it, become the best that I can. Everybody look at me, I got a plan. You gotta work hard, play hard, do it from the start. Cause how you do anything is everything, it's art. Stay consistent and do it every day. Don't let fatigue get in your way. Cause 10% of something is better than nothing. You better do something if you wanna be something. I can feel my stomach rumbling, I'm hungry. Big things coming, I ain't bluffing, yeah.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the very first episode of the Three and Out Renaissance podcast. I'm your host, Moneymaker Chris. And I want to start out by saying thank you. Thank you to the one and only Mr. Jay Giles. He was the one that gave me the opportunity to start out the original Three and Out podcast over on his network, the TV's own podcasting network. Now I'm doing my own thing with this podcast with a little different twist on it, I guess, at least from a name perspective. Still going to be talking football, still going to be, recapping, games and stuff once the season starts, but I wanted to thank him for the opportunity because, it was like 2019. He gave me the opportunity to say on his network to have a football podcast, and we did 113 episodes. Amazing, absolutely amazing. Did some great things over there. Start out with my co-host John. Big shouts out to him as well. We did a bi-weekly podcast. When we were doing it at the time, we did a bi-weekly podcast, and it was great. Had a great time coming on here, talking football. It was his first opportunity to do podcasting, so it was an honor to bring him on and bring him into the podcasting space. I've been doing podcasting just in general since about 2014 or so. I was doing podcasting. I was talking more like wrestling and stuff like that. And then I got into this space doing the football stuff. I got the chance to bring him on. I had known John for quite some time. And yeah, it was fun. And then when he kind of stepped away for personal reasons, I continued to keep up the show going, put a variety of guests on, put my friend Amber on, who I've known since high school, but shouts out to her. JD, who I met through Rob and Julian on the wrestling. They did the Wrestling Court podcast. Put her on for a variety of episodes. Shouts out to her. My friend Damon, had him on the episode. Big shouts out to him. DeAndre, coworker of mine. Shouts out to him. Had him on the episode. Boy Adrian, had him on some episodes. Shouts out to him. I got to do a couple of interviews on here as well. My first two interviews for that old show. Anthony Armstrong, former Redskins wide receiver, Carolina T, who covers sports. She covers down in San Antonio. She does work with the Spurs. She does some boxing stuff. She does some wrestling stuff. She's amazing. One of the hardest working women I know. Had her on here talking football as well. So that gave me the opportunity to do my very first two interviews on the original Three and Out podcast. So here we are now. Still with the Three and Out name, but the Three and Out Renaissance podcast. And you may wonder, why would you call it the Renaissance podcast? I'll explain. When you look up the word Renaissance, some of the stuff it says is the Renaissance, say, specific period in European history, roughly spanning from the 14th to 17th century that originated in Italy and later spread throughout Europe. It marked a dramatic shift away from the Middle Ages towards an era of modernity, reason, and specific inquiry. Rebirth, humanism, artistic and scientific flourishing. Also, the general meaning for Renaissance, it says in lowercase, the word is used generally to describe any similar period of vigorous renewal, revival, renewed interest in a particular field, activity, or place. And then the term Renaissance man says the term gave rise to the phrases Renaissance man, describes a highly versatile, well-rounded individual who excels in a variety of subjects. And for me, I figure I can talk football, I can talk baseball, I can talk wrestling. I have a wide variety of interests. And also says, like, just the general meaning of Renaissance translates to rebirth or revival. And that's what this pretty much is. This is like the rebirth, the revival of this podcast. Well, just away from the TV Zone podcasting network. 'Cause I was thinking about, well, how could I do this? How could I approach this? Didn't want to completely change everything that I was doing. So I kept the three and out name. And then when I heard the word Renaissance and I looked this stuff up, I said, okay, kind of fits what I'm doing. I can kind of dig that. It's a perfect word. Totally fits like this new revival, this new version of the Three and Out podcast. So now from the Three and Out podcast, Three and Out Renaissance podcast. And I hope to, in the long term, still bring some of my former guests back, have Amber on, have JD on, have Damon on, have Adrian on, if they want to come back and still talk football. I would love to have them on as well. They all were great with the original Three and Out podcast. So I would love to bring them on this version of the podcast. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm very excited getting back to doing what I love best, talking football. A lot has happened since the last time I did a football podcast. So I'm gonna bring it all to you here in a couple of episodes here before the season starts. And once the season starts, I'll start doing like regular, like what I was doing with the Three and Out podcast, breaking down all the games from the first game of the season all the way up until the Super Bowl. So let's get started. Let's get started. First off, let's get to free agents. A lot went down in free agency. I believe the first couple of days of free agency, you saw this was on the Pat McAfee show. He was talking about this. $2.88 billion was spent the first couple of days of free agency, which is crazy. That's a lot of money. A lot of money that was spent when free agency began. The top 5 teams that spent were the Raiders. They spent 281 million. Titans spent 229 million. My Commanders spent 209 million. The Saints 193 million, and the Panthers 172.6 $172.6 million spent. That's a lot of. I'm telling you, the NFL. When they say the NFL is king, the NFL is king because when you're able to spend that type of money, and these aren't the I mean outside of obviously the Raiders have a lot of rich tradition and often the Commanders, but these aren't like this ain't like the Kansas City Chiefs. This isn't like the New England Patriots or anything like that. This isn't the Cowboys, the 49ers, the big household name teams outside of like the Raiders and Commanders. I mean, like to the Titans. I mean, Titans, they've been to a Super Bowl, but recently Titans haven't been what they were back in the day. The Saints, this is not the Drew Brees, Sean Payton Saints, and the Panthers. This isn't the Ron Rivera, Cam Newton Panthers and everything. But for these teams to spend money like that, that just goes to show you, like I said, the NFL is king. The NFL over basketball, over NHL, baseball, NFL will always be king. Always be king. Let's start off with this whole Max Crosby situation. That has to be one of the most strangest situations I've seen when it comes to free agency in any sport, not just football, just in any sports. The Ravens have traded, I believe it's 2 first round picks over to when the free agency first began, they traded 2 first round picks over to the Raiders for Max Crosby. And you're like, wow, this is like huge. Max Crosby leaves the Raiders, comes to Baltimore, a team that's known for its defense. It's had so many great defensive players over the years, from Ray Lewis to Ed Reed. The list goes on and on of great defensive players that have played for the Ravens. Now you add Max Crosby to that list. Like, man, this is amazing. He's finally going to be on a contending team because the Raiders have not been that great. You know, they spent a lot of money this offseason and it seemed like they could be one of those possibly surprise teams this season. Who knows? But all of a sudden, you hear that he did not pass his physical. And next thing you know, they said the Ravens have pulled have backed out of the trade for Max Crosby, and they will have further. This was from Adam Schefter. He had said that the Ravens have backed out of the trade agreement for Max Crosby. We will have no further comment at this time. This is with the Raiders. That was the Raiders statement. They will have no further comment at this time. Oh, let me see. Ravens backed out of the. That was from the Raiders. Yeah, that was from the Raiders. That was the Raiders statement that they said that. And let's see, his agent basically posted that Max needs to be on track in his recovery. If anything, he's ahead of schedule according to his surgeon, Dr. Neil L. Tashri? Tashri, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Max remains on track to return during the offseason program and will undoubtedly return as the dominant game record he has been in these past seven seasons. And also, too, this came out as well. They said Crosby and his family were in the Ravens building while the Ravens were attempting to sign Trey Hendrickson. This is according to Diana Rossini on the Rich Eisen show. But they said that I can tell you that the Ravens spoke to Trey Hendrickson yesterday while Max Crosby was in the building. That tells you they were aware that something was going on. Max Crosby was there not knowing he was a dead man walking. This was not going to be his team. That's the problem here. And then when he got on his podcast, he was basically talking about how the whole situation went down. He said like he was in shock. He heard from his agent. He saw the whole thing on TV. He got a call from Dana White asking like what's going on. And then he got a flight to Baltimore after the trade went down. It was like a 5-hour flight, I guess, from Vegas to Baltimore. Flew into DC, and they said he had to drive 2 hours. Yeah, I think he had to drive on his own. They didn't send anybody for him. He had to drive 2 hours to Baltimore once he got in town. Said he never saw the general manager. Dapped up the coach. But he said the energy felt off when he met the new head coach for Baltimore. He dapped him up. He said that something felt off when he did that. And let's see. He said he saw the general manager in another room for the first time eventually. And then the doctors had the concern about the MRI from his knee injury. And they must have got cold feet after that. And they decided they saw something in that MRI that didn't make them feel comfortable. And they decided to back out of the trade. And my whole thing when it came to this Max Crosby situation was you're not just gonna send 2 first round picks just give up 2 first round picks if you're not 100% sure about said player that you're trading for. Like, from the moment they decided to make this trade till they actually got him inside the building, like, I still wonder, like, what changed? What made him feel like, "Okay, this is not the his knee is not as healthy as we think it's gonna be, and it's worse off than what we thought, and we're gonna back out of this trade." 'Cause you don't see that often. One of the last times I saw it, well, not even in football, but in basketball, when Chris Paul got traded to the Lakers, like, the commissioner got involved, and it kinda basically null and void that trade, and he ended up not going to the Lakers. You wonder what it would have been like if Kobe had Chris Paul on the team, 'cause both of them at the time, they were still in their prime. They coulda definitely did some damage. They coulda definitely won some championships together. That would have given that Kobe that point guard, and he, coulda did a lot of things with. It's like, this wasn't like Chris Paul or Kobe at the back ends of their career. It was still at the top of their game. It was still two of the top guys their at their position, and especially the way you see guys move around the NBA NBA now, to think at that time that they stopped that trade is crazy. It's absolutely insane. But yeah, let's see some more here. This is talking about him when he was on his podcast. This is from Fox Sports. Las Vegas Raiders defensive end Max Crosby said on his podcast that he was angry and confused by the Ravens' decision to cancel the trade that would have sent him to Baltimore. No one will ever admit what the real truth is. Ultimately, it doesn't matter. Am where I'm supposed to be, Crosby said on his show. I'm here, meant to be a Raider. I'm in this for life until that changes, which I don't foresee, but you never know. So as far as I haven't heard anything since. This was early on when free agency first started. This whole situation went down. Most likely, they're probably going to keep him. I mean, unless they get another trade offer. But the Raiders, they spent a lot of money this off season. Had the number 1 draft pick, which I'll get into a little bit more later. And yeah, this had to be one of the most crazy situations that I've ever ever seen in any of sports, because like I said, a team's not just giving up just 2 first round draft picks. Those first round picks? Those are very valuable. And I wonder if down the line we will hear more about this whole situation, 'cause I feel like there's more to this story. I feel like there's a lot more to this story that we don't know. They always say that there's 3 sides to every story. There's your side, there's my side, there's the truth. I'm sure the Raiders have their version. The Raiders and Max Crosby have their version of the story. The Ravens have their version of the story, and somewhere in there, there's the truth. I mean, when we see some type of, documentary down the line, we'll see like a 30 for 30 to dive in more deep about this situation, because it's just you don't trade for a guy like a Max Crosby and then just back out like that. That's it's just weird. It's just that was just a very weird, peculiar situation. Very peculiar situation. So yeah. Like I said, like Crosby said, maybe that was just meant to be. Maybe it just meant to be. Maybe it's just the football god saying that no, you're meant to be a Raider at the end of the day. See, that's what he spent his whole career there. He was drafted there and everything. So maybe it's meant to be that, hey, he was supposed to be a Raider. But yeah, that was just a wild, crazy situation, man. Crazy situation. So, but speaking of Ravens, they like the Diana Rossini was mentioned on the Rich Eisen show about the whole Trey Hendricks situation. Next thing you know, that they ended up signing Trey Hendrickson, who was a free agent. They signed him to a 4-year, $100 million contract. So at the end of the day, I'm wondering, like, Trey was a free agent. You wouldn't have to give up your 2 first-round picks. Why didn't they just sign him from the jump? He's a good pass rusher. He may not be Max Crosby, but he's still a very talented pass rusher, and they should know him because he was coming from the Bengals, and they played them. That's the division rival. They play them twice a year, so they should know what he can do. And been it's been pretty much clear that he wasn't gonna re-sign with the Bengals. Why don't you just sign him just straight out? I don't know. Like I said, that whole Raven situation was very, 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 very peculiar. Very peculiar. But they got their guy, like I said, 4 years, $112 million. So the contract could be worth up to $120 million if the Ravens includes, it said, be up to 120 million, includes 60 million fully guaranteed and a $20 million signing bonus. But they got their guy. Might not be Max Crosby, but hey, they ended up getting their guy. But like I said, there's been a lot of wheeling and dealing this off season. A lot of people going to different places. Let's see. Isaiah Pacheco, he signed with the Lions. Let's see. Dawson Knox. Let's see. He resigned. He stayed with the Bills on a 3-year deal. Let's see. Geno Smith. It's the big one here. The Raiders are sending Geno Smith. This is from ESPN. The Raiders send Geno Smith and a 2026 7th-round pick to the Jets in exchange for a 2026 6th-round pick. Now, he returns to the Jets. He started his career with the Jets. Was not great there. He bounced around the league, but he went to Seattle, and that's when he kind of had a resurgence in his career. He was with the Raiders last year. Didn't do that great with them, but nobody's done great with the Raiders in recent years. And the Jets definitely desperately need a quarterback. Is Geno the long-term answer there? Who knows? But at least he's a veteran that he's been in that organization. He knows what the market is over there, and hopefully he can stabilize things over there. I mean, Jets have been trying for so long, tried a variety of different guys. They had Justin Fields there last year. That didn't work out. You gotta find your quarterback. In this day and age, this league, the way the league is now, you have to have a quarterback. If you don't have a quarterback, you have nothing. I mean, my Commanders can speak for that on a personal level. They got Jaden Daniels, and that first year to win the NFC Championship game against Philly. So having that quarterback is very, very important. I mean, it is the Jets. I mean, you got Alan Glenn over there coming from Detroit. He was defensive coordinator over there. They've added some pieces. I mean, we'll see. I mean, sure, there's no guarantee there with the Jets. The Jets will always be the Jets, but hopefully, this second time around, maybe he can have a resurgence there with the Jets. We shall see. The jury's still out on that, but we shall see about that. Let's see some other move. Romeo Dobbs, he signs with the Patriots on a 4-year, $70 million deal. That's a good move for them. Another weapon for Drake May coming off going to the Super Bowl. And another move that the Patriots made, I'll get into this. They traded for AJ Brown to the Eagles, trading Pro Bowl wide receiver AJ Brown to the Patriots for a 2028 first-round pick and a 2027 fifth-round pick. We knew this was coming. They said they were gonna wait till June 1st so all like the contract stuff could like line up properly. And as soon as the first hit, that move was made. We knew he wanted out of Philly for the longest time. So now he got a chance to go to the Patriots, have a resurgence with his career and everything, and see what he can do. Like I say, team coming off the Super Bowl last year. You have Romeo Dobbs, you have Drake May, you have AJ Brown now. But we can see. Hopefully he's finally happy now. Hopefully he's finally happy. He looks good in these colors. I gotta put him in the colors. He looks good in those Patriots colors. So yeah, we'll see how he does with his new team. I think he'll do well over there. I think he'll do quite well over there. I think he'll do quite well. Like I said, he wanted to be traded. He's on a new team now. He's over there with Coach Mike Vrabel, who had him over when he was with the Titans. So hopefully things work out for him. And that was a busy day. Very busy day. Like beginning of this month was a very busy. And then after got that news, like even before that, I can't remember which one came first, but I know it was the same day. The AJ Brown trade. Actually, I think this one happened first. Actually, the AJ Brown happened after this scenario. Miles Garrett traded from the Browns to the Rams in exchange for a first round pick and for 2027 and Jared Verse. So basically they swap teams. Jared Verse goes from the Raiders to the Browns. Garrett goes from the Browns to the Rams. You're like, wow. It's been very, very interesting with Miles Garrett. Obviously, we know he's a very good pass rusher. Been on bad Browns teams all these years. A couple of off seasons ago, he said he wanted out. He wanted away from the Browns. Some thought he may come here. He may, finally say, enough is enough. I want to get on a contending team. They threw some more money at him, and he said, you know what? Cleveland's not so bad after all. And decided to stay. Now he's on a team that's a contender for the Super Bowl. And you're like, wow. I mean, that's exciting. That's very, very exciting. I mean, for the first time, you can say that Miles Garrett is gonna be on a contended team that has a legit chance to actually get to a Super Bowl. Could he be that thing that pushes them over the hump? Because when they got Matthew Stafford, that's what ultimately happened. He got over there, he came from the Lions, who were not a great team at the time. No, the Lions are a lot better now. But at the time when Stafford was there, the Lions were they were like the laughing, laughing stock of the league. He gets over there to the Rams with Sean McVay, and I believe, yeah, Odell Beckham, he got injured in the Super Bowl. He was on that team, and he was the missing piece, the piece that ultimately got them over the hump and got them to a Super Bowl. Jared Goff got them there, but they didn't win. They lost to the Patriots. But I think they played the Bengals. Yeah, they played the Bengals, Joe Burrow that year. And it was Bengals Rams, and that's when they won their Super Bowl for the first time since the Kurt Warner Super Bowl team that won. And now a lot of people are saying, could this mean Aaron Donald comes out of retirement? I mean, he's still pretty young. I believe he's 35. Yeah, he's 35 years old. Seen some videos of him working out. He's still in amazing shape. Will this be the thing that gets him to come out of retirement? Said, I come here with Miles Garrett. We got Stafford here. We got Puka Nacua here. We got a team here that could legitimately get to the Super Bowl. Would that bring him out of retirement? Haven't heard any news or anything on that, but hey, that would Miles Garrett and Aaron Donald, even though he's been out of the league for a little while now, I mean, even if he's a fraction of what he was, and then he didn't retire because of major injuries and everything. He decided, hey, I won my Super Bowl, accomplished everything I wanted to accomplish. He decided, hey, I want to move on to other things in my life. And now you're like, is it something that he's thinking about? Like nothing, like I said, nothing's set in stone, but people are wondering, could this be the thing that gets him to come out of retirement. So, jury's still out. If anything happens, I'll definitely keep you guys posted, but that's just the thought of those 2. But even with regardless, if it's just only Myles Garrett, it's scary, but you add Aaron to the mix too, you're like, "Wow, that could be a lethal combination. That could be a lethal combination." The Giants signed 3 wide receivers. They signed Juju Smith-Schuster, they signed Braxton Berrios, and then they re-signed former Giant in Odell Beckham. Malik Neighbors is out with a knee injury. I think he had to go back and have another surgery at some point, so they don't know when he's coming back. So they signed these 3 veteran receivers to the mix. We have John Harbaugh over there now as the head coach coming from the Ravens. So hopefully he brings some stability over there to the Giants. He's a very good head coach. Very good head coach. Won a Super Bowl in Baltimore. Here recently, they just weren't able to get over the hump to get back to the Super Bowl, but those teams are always competitive, always contending, always in the mix. Yeah, they had their fallouts in the playoffs and everything, but one thing about the Harbaugh teams, they were always well coached and they were always in the mix of getting to the Super Bowl. So hopefully he can bring that same energy over there to the Giants. They desperately need it. The Giants have not been the same probably much since Odell Beckham left the team. They've been Odell Beckham and Eli Manning. They've been struggling to try to find relevancy since then. So we'll see what the Giants look like this upcoming season. Speaking of Matthew Stafford, like I said earlier when I was talking about the Rams, he recently agreed on a 1-year, $55 million extension move up to $60 million. So that'll keep him on the Rams for the next 2 seasons. Just like I said, the Rams are going all in. Give an extension to Stafford, you trade for Myles Garrett. The Rams are going for it, and you have to respect that. You have to ultimately respect that for sure. Like, hey, you never know in this league. I always say it's a week to week, year to year league. Just because you were good one season doesn't mean you're going to be good the next season. So if you got an opportunity to contend and get to a Super Bowl, you want to go all in. You definitely want to go all in. And then, in the words of The Rock, finally, The Rock has come back to whatever city that they were in at the time. Finally, Aaron Rodgers makes a decision about coming back to Pittsburgh. He's coming back to Pittsburgh on a 1-year deal, and he announced that this will be his final season in the league. I guess good for Pittsburgh. I mean, Mike McCarthy's there. They were together in Green Bay. So it does make sense. But I'm like, dude, it took you forever to make this decision. And I get it, you're older now, on the back end of your career, but I'm just like, you either want to play football or you don't. If what else do you have to prove? You're gonna go down as one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, won a Super Bowl, we have some records under your belt. Like, what more do you have to prove? You decided like, hey, this is it. I don't want to come back. I want to retire. Great. He's just a different cat. He's just in his own little world a lot of the times. I mean, talent wise, you cannot deny his talent. One of the all time great quarterbacks, but just as a person, he's just one of those guys that just in his own world, just doing his own thing and marching to the beat of his own drum, basically. But you can't deny the talent. You can't deny the talent whatsoever. Let's see. He was a first round pick in the 2005 draft, 24th overall. I remember that draft. I remember out in the front yard here at the house doing some work in the yard and just listening to on the radio. He was supposed to be a top pick. And he just kept dropping in that draft, dropping in that draft, dropping. And He ended up going 24 to the Packers. So let's see, who had the first pick that year? Let's see. We'll pump it up here. Maybe Alex Smith. Yeah, the 49ers. Alex Smith was the first pick. So these are some of the names that went ahead of Aaron Rodgers. Alex Smith turned out to be a pretty good quarterback. He was with the 49ers, he was with Kansas City. That's when he really turned it up. Kansas City. He was here with the Commanders. Unfortunately, broke his leg. They able to come back from that, which was absolutely amazing to see. But overall, had a pretty, decent career. Ronnie Brown with the Dolphins, he was a number 2 pick. Did okay, but didn't stay around that long. Braylon Edwards, Browns, didn't do a whole lot. Cedric Benson was the 4th pick to the Bears. Cadillac Williams with Tampa Bay. Adam Pac-Man Jones went to the Titans. Williamson went to the Vikings, number 7. And Crell Roll went to the Cardinals at number 8. Carlos Rogers to the Redskins at the time, number 9 pick. Mike Williams went to the 10 to Detroit. DeMarcus Ware went to Dallas. He might be, of all those picks, he might be the best of those players so far. Sean Merriam, former Maryland guy, Fear the Turtle, go Terps, went to San Diego. He was a solid player. Jamal Brown, 13 to the Saints. Thomas Davis, Panthers. He was a solid player. He was very good. Derek Johnson was Kansas City, very good player. Let's see, Travis Johnson, the Houston Texans. I don't remember him too much. David Polak went to the Bengals. Marius James went to the Vikings. Alex Barron went to the not Cardinals, went to the Rams. Marcus Spears, hey, Swagoo, Dallas. He had 2 picks that draft. He turned out to be a pretty decent player. Marcus Spears was good. Now he's on TV doing this thing. Matt Jones went to the Jaguars. Mark Clayton went to the Ravens. Raiders got Fabian Washington, and Rodgers went 24. Like, right before my Commanders. The Commanders had picked Jason Campbell, who wasn't a bad quarterback, but he most definitely wasn't Aaron Rodgers. I'm like, oh man, we were so close to getting Aaron Rodgers. But most of these names, outside of maybe a Marcus Spears, Derek Johnson, Thomas Davis, DeMarcus Ware, Sean Merriam, a lot of these guys, they weren't Aaron Rodgers. So for him to drop all the way to 24 is crazy to me. But yeah, he has had a great career. Like I said, he went to the Packers. He was there from 2005 to 2022. Then he was with the Jets, 2023, 2024. If he hadn't have gotten hurt that first game against the Giants, I think things would have been different with the Jets. He came back and it just didn't work it out. Still, like it was, Jets are the Jets. The Jets are the Jets. And then, of course, he was with Pittsburgh last year. He's going to be there this coming season. Like I say, he's won a Super Bowl, won a Super Bowl MVP, won 4 regular season MVPs, 2011, 2014, 2020, 2021. First full-time first-team All-Pro, 2011, 2014, 2020, 2021. Second-team All-Pro in 2012. 10 Pro Bowls, 2009, 11, 12, 2014 to 2016, 2018 to 2021. NFL, full-time NFL passer rating leader, 2011, 12, 2020, 2021, and 2-time NFL passing touchdowns leader, 2016, 2020. Let's see, he's had 8,743 attempts, 5,696 completions, with a completion percentage of 65.1. 527 touchdown passes to 123 interceptions, 66,274 passing yards, and a passer rating of 102.2. Also with 3,634 rushing yards and 36 rushing touchdowns. Of course, he came in there and was the heir apparent to Brett Favre at the time. You know how the tension was there between those two. And it's funny, like, how their careers were very, very similar. They both draft, well, Roger, not Roger, but Favre, he was traded to Packers. He was with Atlanta. He was traded there like 92 or 93, I believe was the year. It was the late night. Let me see here. Pulling it up here. Yeah, 92. He was with the Falcons 91 and 92. He was ended up with the Packers. And like I said, Rodgers was there, backing him up for a while, and then how their relationship was, like, Rodgers, I mean, not Rodgers, Favre didn't want to necessarily be the mentor to him, so to speak, and there was tension there. And then, Rodgers eventually took over the starting job and everything. Like I said, he won one Super Bowl. Favre won one Super Bowl. Favre ended up playing with the Jets. Rodgers ended up playing with the Jets. The only thing he didn't do was play. Rodgers didn't do was play for Minnesota. And then there were in talks about signing him when he was um a free agent here, and then also when they were like talking about trading for him as well. So that's just crazy how their paths kind of are very, 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 very similar and everything. And then you know for a while there, Favre had, announced his retirement and everything, and he ended up coming out of retirement. And like the last couple seasons, they were wondering, like, is he gonna stay? Is he gonna go? What's going on? It's been like the same thing with Rodgers. Is he gonna play? Is he not gonna play? It's just like they basically turned into each other. Very similar paths that both of those guys have taken. But yeah, Rodgers is back with the Steelers for one more go around as he comes to the end of his career. Let's see some other signings or re-signings. Achan for the Miami, he re-signs. He agrees to a 4-year, $68 million extension, 32 million guaranteed. Good for him. We don't know what Miami is really gonna be. They don't have Tua over there anymore, so we don't know what they're gonna ultimately be. Who's their quarterback? They signed somebody this off season. Let me see. Miami Dolphins quarterback. They signed somebody because Tua is no longer Malik Willis. They would sign Malik Willis. He's going to be competing for the job over there. He did very good with Green Bay as when Jordan Love was out this past season. So now he's got a chance to rejuvenate his career. So we'll see. We've seen that a lot here lately. Like I said, with Geno Smith when he went to the Seattle, Baker Mayfield going to Tampa. Let me see. Daniel Jones with the Colts last year. We've seen guys that weren't great in with one team go to a different team, and it looks like night and day as far as like their performance is concerned. So we'll see if Nick Willis is another guy that could be added to that list. David Njoku signs a 1-year deal with the Chargers for $8 million. Go from Cleveland to the Chargers. Good for him. Marquez Valles Scandling, signed with the Cowboys on a 1-year deal. They also re-signed their kicker, Brandon Abreu, now the highest paid kicker in the NFL. He signed a record 4-year, $28 million deal. Like I said, Marquez is the highest paid kicker in NFL history. Good for him. Good for him. Trent Williams gets an extension with the 49ers. He agrees to on terms of a 2-year, $50 million deal. It's going to keep him there from through 2027, and then his contract standoff. He had a standoff with the team, so he's got a 2-year deal with them. Good for him. Still an elite left tackle, so good for him. Protecting drop Purdy's blind side there. Let's see, this is a big one. Dexter Lawrence signed with the Bengals on a 1-year, $28 million extension after being traded. They traded him there. Let's see. Yeah, they traded him there from the Giants, and they signed him to a contract extension. So they lose Trey Hendrickson. They get Dexter Lawrence. Good for him. Good for him. See what he does over there. Look, on the offensive side with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, they have plenty of talent. It's just on the defensive side of the ball, defense over there is not good. If they can figure out something on the defensive side of the ball, the Bengals can be something because the problem over there is not the offense. It's definitely not the offense over there. The offense over there is very solid. Very, very solid, hopefully. Let's see, Will Anderson Jr., he gets his money. He gets a 3-year, $150 million extension that makes him the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. The deal includes $134 million guaranteed. Good for him. That defense over there with Houston is very good. D'Amico Ryans, that's one of the anchors of that defense, so good for him. Let's see. Kirk Cousins signs with the Raiders, and they said he'll sign a 5-year, $172 million deal with the Raiders that in reality is basically a 1-year deal, fully guaranteed $20 million deal that also contains a club option for 2 years, $180 million or $80 million, excuse me, according to Adam Schefter. Look, say what you want about Kirk Cousins, like talent-wise. He's not a bad quarterback. Is he an elite quarterback? No, he may not be an elite quarterback. Not Holmes, Lamar, Josh Allen, anybody like that. But he's a guy that could definitely win football games with. But as far as getting paid, the guy's a Hall of Famer as far as getting paid. It's crazy the amount of money that he has made over the years. I mean, started off like, his rookie season of 2015, 600, 43K. And then after that, he was on franchise tag deals with the Redskins at the time in 2016 for 19.9 million and 23.9 million in 2017. Then he got 3 different contracts from the Vikings, one for 28 million, 33 million, and 35 million. Then he got that big contract from the Falcons for 45 million. And then now he's getting 34.4 million from the Raiders. And it's just crazy the amount of money that he has made over the years. I mean, just unbelievable, the breakdown. Like I said, 2016, 19 million, 2017, 23 million, 2018, 22.5 million, 2019, 27.5 million, 2020, 9.5 million, 2021, 21 million, 22 million in 2022. Oh, excuse me. 2021, he made 21 million. 2022, he made 15 million. 2023, 10 million. 2024, 12.5 million. 2025, 27.5 million. And 2026, 20 million. They said he's made $209,396,600 in just guaranteed money. That's just the guaranteed money that he's made. I mean, this guy knows how to get paid. Whoever this guy's agent is, whatever they're paying him, he needs to be paid double because he knows how to get paid. One thing about Kirk Cousins, that man's gonna know how to make a dollar. You can't deny that whatsoever. Unbelievable. Shouts out to Kirk Cousins. Let's see. DeMar Hamlin resigns with the Bills on a 1-year deal. Good for him. The guy almost died on Monday Night Football when he passed out during that game. I believe they're playing the Bengals. Can't remember who they playing exactly. I want to say they were playing the Bengals. But yeah, that was a very scary situation. The fact he was able to come back and still play is just absolutely, absolutely amazing. They saved his life that night. I believe it was against the Bengals. I want to say it was against the Bengals. And that's absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing that he's still playing. Let's see. The Saints signed Zach Wilson to a 1-year deal. The Ageless Wonder, Joe Flacco, uh, re-signed with the Bengals on a one-year deal, so he'll be there backing up, um, Joe Burrow. Good for him. Just amazing to see with Joe Flacco is still all these years the grizzled veteran. And we share a birthday too, actually, too. So good for him. Good for him. He's a year older than me, actually. Let me double check that. Joe Flacco. Yeah, 41 years old. He's a year older than me. It's just amazing. It's absolutely amazing to see him still all these years, still playing, still playing football. It's just crazy to me. Crazy, 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 crazy. But hey, and he's still playing well too. He's still doing his thing. Like I say, the Ravens, the Browns, the Jets. He's been like a journeyman, but he's still a very very solid quarterback. Got it, so a good backup to have, good veteran backup to have. Yeah, it was Monday Night Football against the Bengals. Yeah, for Damar Hamlin. Said during a Monday Night Football game against the Bengals on January 2nd, 2023, Hamlin suffered cardiac arrest after making a tackle, and he was hospitalized in critical condition. He was released from the hospital 9 days later and eventually returned to professional football. Yeah, I thought it was against the Bengals, and it was on Monday Night Football. It was against the Bengals. See, Brian Robinson Jr., former Commander, signs a one-year deal to play with the Falcons. Good for him. He was with San Francisco last year. Now he's with the Falcons over there with Bijan Robinson. So you got two Robinsons over there now with the Bengals. Travis Kelsey re-signs with the Kansas City on a 3-year, $54.7 million deal. Good for him. You'd figured he wasn't going anywhere. Like, he's Mr. Kansas City, so you figured he wasn't going anywhere. And then, let's see, Patrick Mahomes, he signed a extension as well. Let's see, pulling it up here now. Kansas City extends Patrick Mahomes on a $504.75 million deal this week. So that locks him up for the next 8 seasons. He said, that money's be spread out over the next 8 years. Here's the year-by-year breakdown of the deal. Looks like over the next 8 years. This coming up season, $56.7 million in cash in 2026, $54.45 million May roster bonus that's already earned, 1.3 million base salary, 1 million workout bonus, all fully guaranteed, 58 million in 2027 in cash, 30 million in a May 5 roster bonus, 27 million base salary, 1 million workout bonus, all will be fully guaranteed by next week. 60 million in cash in 2028, 30 million in a May 5 roster bonus, 29 million base salary, 1 million roster bonus, 35.5 million guaranteed by next week. 2029, 62.5 million in cash in 2029, 30 million in a May 5 roster bonus, which becomes fully guaranteed March 2028, a year earlier. 31.5 million in base salary, 1 million uh, workout bonus, remaining 32.5 million vested March 2029. 2020, 2030, 63.75 million in cash in 2030, 30 million in a May 5 roster bonus. It becomes fully guaranteed in March 2029, 32.7 million in base salary, 1 million workout bonus, remaining 33.75 million in March of 2030. 2031, 65.7 million in cash in 2031, 30 million in a May 5 roster bonus, becomes fully guaranteed March 2030, 34.7 million in base salary, 1 million workout bonus, 68 million in cash in 2032, 30 million in a May 5 roster bonus, which will be fully guaranteed March 2031. $37 million in base salary, $1 million workout, the remaining 38 vest in March 2032. Then the last year is $70 million in cash in 2033, $30 million in a May 5th roster bonus, $39 million in base salary, $1 million in a workout bonus, and $70 million vests as fully guaranteed in March of 2023. So that's the contract breakdown. So Mahomes and Kelsey are back in the mix. He's coming off that Achilles injury that he had. They said he's ahead of schedule, so we'll see. They did sign Justin Fields, so they do have him there. They did sign Kenneth Walker there, so he'll help in the running game. Tennessee's gonna have a lot to prove. They did not make the postseason at all this past season, so they're gonna be hungry. But I'm not counting those guys out. I always say if you have number 15, Mahomes, 87, Kelsey, and Big Red, Andy Reid, you're gonna win a lot of football games. Those guys are gonna keep you in games. Obviously, Kelsey's older now. Mahomes is getting a little older now too, because coming off this injury, but they're gonna figure things out. They will figure things out. And having that running game with Walker there and Field there as an insurance policy as a backup, I think that helps them as well. But yeah, they definitely got a lot to prove this year. But I'm telling you, they're gonna come back hungry. They're not gonna want to miss the postseason for back-to-back seasons. I can guarantee you that. I can guarantee you that for sure. Okay, this whole Brandon Ayuk situation has to be one of the strangest things I've seen in a long time. Seems like we're at a stalemate here. I figured that the 49ers were going to release him, but at this point, they want to try to get some draft compensation back for him. The Commanders have expressed interest. They want to sign him straight out and not trade him. He's forfeited some money on his previous contract. He's kind of ghosted the team. He's had these strange Instagram posts where he was talking about the 49ers, acting like a female dog and acting like a little cat. If we know what he's basically saying with that. He's taking the post down, talking about them being like afraid of the belt and everything, and like a kid with a toy. One kid didn't like the toy and didn't know what to do with it, and the new kid gets the toy and realizes what to do with it. I mean, it's just been very strange, this whole situation that has taken place with Brandon Ayuk with really no end in sight. We don't know how it's ultimately going to end, but I hope it ends soon. And I'm at the point now, like, do we really want this guy on this team? I mean, I know he's friends with Jaden Daniel. I know Adam Peters knows him obviously from his time with the 49ers, but I'm like, do we really want this guy? Is he really gonna want to come here? And I mean, he's made it very clear that he wants to be a Commander. I mean, we saw an Instagram post with him with a Commander's hat on, and saw another Instagram post. We had a location in Washington, D.C., and we saw that he only follows like his wife, Jake Daniels, and the Commanders on social media. And this is crazy coming from a guy that's still on another team. That's not one a guy that's like a free agency or a guy that's like tired, coming out of retirement, saying, "Hey, I want to play for this team." He's still technically with the 49ers. So yeah, this is just a very strange, peculiar situation. And like I said, they were talking about George Kittle. He was on the Bussin' with Boys podcast talking about the whole situation. He was saying the last time I saw Ayuk was because he was at the training camp, kind of not, and then he was in and out of the building throughout those first couple of weeks. I started going out to see him like in the weight room because he didn't go to the locker room or the training room anymore. So he would just go to the weight room, do his rehab. Let's go out there and talk to him because he didn't go to meetings or anything like that. I just talked to him, let him know, hey, I'm your guy, just letting you know I love you. Started doing that. Let's call it week 6. He says, I don't know what week it was. And then literally a week later, the story came out, like all the crazy stuff. And then I didn't see him again. So yeah, this is just a very peculiar situation. Like I say, don't know how it's gonna play out. I mean, hey, if he can come here and ball out, great. Give him like a 1 year prove it deal. We'll see what happens. And I take a chance with Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs, local guy, went to Maryland. He's a free agent. See, he's had some of his, s- issues and stuff as well. But I would definitely, if you're gonna sign somebody, I would take a chance with him. But this Brandon Ayuk situation, who knows how it's ultimately gonna play out? But we shall see. Let's see some other news here. Titans got new uniforms. They look pretty good here. I like how they look. Still got the same color scheme and everything. They look really nice. So hey, you look good, you play good. So hopefully that helps them in the long run. It's always cool seeing new uniforms. My Commanders, they got new uniforms as well. Going back to the traditional burgundy and gold colors. Those uniforms look so sick, so good. Really like their uniforms. They got a new black jersey, and they look like the traditional Redskins colors. So, once again, you look good, you play good. You look good, you play good. And we should have never got rid of the name. You should have never gotten rid of the color scheme. You should have kept the same color scheme. There's nobody saying that we couldn't change the colors. They got the one helmet with the spear going through it on the black uniform. I mean, I wish that all of the helmets had that on there. The other helmets had the regular W on there, but that looks so sick with that spear. It's all over social media, both of these Titans and the Commanders uniforms. You can definitely Google them and see what they look like. But they look sick. They look really, really, really sick. Really sick. Commanders did some good moves this offseason. They signed Leo Chanel from Kansas City. They signed a 3-year, $24.7 million deal. They also signed, let's see, who's this? Linebacker Calebon Cashion? I believe that's how you pronounce his name. He signed a 1-year deal, $12 million. He said, Inokueo, I believe that's how forgive me on these names, forgive me on these names. Signed a 3-year deal as a tight end for the team. Also signed Nick Cross to a 2-year deal, $14 million contract according to, Ian Rapoport. Let's see who else they signed. They signed Rashad White, former teammate of Jane Daniels at Arizona State. So that's somebody else in the running back field for them. They re-signed, let's see, Trent Scott to a 1-year veterans deal. He's the one that caught the touchdown pass, offensive line that caught the touchdown pass in the Monday night game against the Bengals. They re-signed a couple of receivers. They brought back De'Ami Brown, and they signed Van Jefferson to the receivers room. They re-signed Chris Paul to a 1-year deal. They signed Jerome Ford, running back, came from the Browns on a 1-year deal. Jerry McNichols, they got him back on a 1-year deal. Signed an extension with Jeremy Reed. He signed an extension with the team, so he'll be back with the team. So the Commanders, hey, they've been spending some money, especially on the defensive side of the ball, which was desperately, desperately needed because that defense was absolutely horrible last season. So they had to make some changes there. And I'm happy to see what they can do. You got 2 new coordinators as well. So we'll see what this team looks like ultimately coming up this season. I mean, having a down season coming off of going to the NFC Championship game against the Eagles a couple of seasons ago. The injuries really hurt them a lot. So we'll see how they bounce back this season. And I think they can definitely bounce back. If everybody stays healthy, they don't have to worry about the current contract situation. They've definitely got younger on the defensive side of the ball. The sky's the limit for this team. The sky's the limit. New uniforms and everything. So hey, go Command. Left hand up. Left hand up. Also, too, they announced that they on the stadium deal, they're gonna get the old RFK spot what they've been so desperately trying to get over the last several years. And the stadium is expected to be open in 2030, I believe it is. Seen pictures of it. It's online. You can definitely go Google and look for the pictures. Looks really good, like the blueprint of what it's ultimately they want it to look like. Kind of look like a more updated version of RFK, which is amazing. And by getting a new stadium like that, you're gonna get an opportunity to host Super Bowl, other big concerts and events, WrestleMania. That's what I, as a wrestling fan, would love them to host a WrestleMania. That would be absolutely amazing for them to do that. So yeah, I'm very excited for them to finally get the stadium deal in place. Some of the details it says could hold up to 65,000 piece. Gonna have a 65,000 people. Gonna have a roof on top of it. A festivalized plaza to the west. Stadium will unlock surrounding campus, including the housing, restaurants, parks, open space, neighborhood, and more. That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. Good for the Commanders. Good for them. Let's see. What else? What else? What else? Oh, this came out too about the Commanders slash the Redskins. They said Peyton Manning could have been a Redskin. I'm not sure who this report was, but I did see this. It said apparently the multiple Redskins insiders, Hall of Fame quarterback Peyton Manning preferred to sign with the Redskins in 2012. That's when he came from the Colts, and he ended up signing with Denver. It's like they had a verbal agreement in place with Mike Shanahan. The deal got blown up when Dan Snyder decided to pay for the rights to Robert Griffin III, considering a lateral move just to prevent Manning acquisition. Shanahan and John Elway are both quoted as saying we were very close to getting him, and I think he preferred Washington. Could you imagine Dan Snyder stay keeping us down? That's what the guy said that posted that. That would have been interesting. And especially the way things ultimately played out with, Robert Griffin and getting injured and everything. I mean, that first season was bad. Everything after that was not so much. But man, if they had gotten Peyton Manning and he ultimately ended up winning the Super Bowl in Denver, took him to 2 Super Bowls, actually. Went to 2 Super Bowls. Went to 2 Super Bowls, got blown up by Seattle that won, and then beat the Panthers in another Super Bowl. Yeah, they beat the Panthers in the other Super Bowl. But yeah, that would have been very interesting to see how the team would have looked with Peyton Manning under center. That Dan Snyder, I tell you. Mm, mm, mm. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Unbelievable. Dale Green, at 66 years old, was out there trying out for the flag football team for the 2028. I mean, that is absolutely insane. I mean, we know in his prime, he was the fastest man, one of the all-time great cornerbacks. I still remember, like, toward the back end of his career when Randy Moss was, like, just cooking everybody in the league, like, 98, I believe it was, came to the league. You just cooking everybody, but when he played up against Darryl Green held his own against him, and it's like Darryl Green on the back end of his career held his own against Randy Moss. He said, "Not today, young man, not today." Yeah, that's crazy. It's a 66-year-old Washington Hall of Fame cornerback Dale Green will be 68 at the time and seeking a spot on the US flag football team for the 2028 Olympics. The Dale qualified through our digital combine. He's later in his career and then the other trials participants, but his testing results were impressive. Our coaches and staff felt he deserved a closer look. He's a rare athlete who has stayed in shape. He's ready to compete this week. He's still one of the fastest players in NFL history, famously running a 4.2 40-yard dash at age 40 and 4.43 at age 50. He was four-time NFL fastest man winner, maintaining elite speed across his 20-year career from 1983 to 2022. That's cool. That's crazy. Running a 4.42 at 40 and a 4.4 at 50. That's insane. That is absolutely insane to me. It's like, shouts out to Darrell Green. He is an absolute legendary player. One of the all-time greats. And I think I got just about everything here. Let's see. Lions signed Teddy Bridgewater, so he's gonna go there and be a backup to Jared Goff. Let's see, Daniel Jones agrees on a new long-term contract. He signed a 2-year, $88 million contract, over $60 million. Good for him. He really went over to the Colts, and before he got hurt, he was really rejuvenated his career from the time we saw with the Giants. Let's see, Cam Hayward signs a new 2-year deal worth $32.25 million with 16.25 fully guaranteed. Ravens signed Patrick Ricard. He's a fullback, another former Raven joining the Giants. Sam Howell were Commanders signed with the Cowboys as a backup, signed a 1-year deal with them. Let's see, Bills and Bradley Chubb agreeing on a 3-year to $43.5 million contract, $52.5 million, with up to $52.5 million. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, excuse me, not Justin. Kyler Murray agrees on a 1-year deal with the Vikings after he got released from the Cardinals. So now he'll get to compete with JJ McCarthy for the starting job over there. I think he still got talent over there with Kevin O'Connell over there. You got Justin Jefferson over there, Addison over there. So I think he's got a chance to, like I said, we've seen Baker Mayfield go over to Tampa and do his thing. We've seen Daniel Jones go over to the Colts and do his thing. Smith. So maybe Kyler could be another guy that could go to a different team, get a fresh start. He's got talent. He's over there in Arizona. He has some injuries and stuff too, so he's got a chance to showcase what he can do with on a new team. Let's see, Jonathan Allen, former Redskins commander, signed a 2-year, $28 million deal with the Bengals. So that's another guy added to the Bengals defense after he played with Minnesota last year. So yeah, let's see. The Chargers signing the Ravens running back Keon Mitchell to a 2-year, $9.25 million deal with $5 million fully guaranteed. Good for him. Let's see. Greg Greenlaw signed a 1-year deal with the 49ers. Emmanuel Wilson's Seattle signed him, former Packer, to a 1-year deal. Calvin Austin's signed the Giants on a 1-year deal, $4.5 million. So that's another receiver in the Giants room. Let's see. Josh Johnson signs with the Bengals. I mean, this guy is a complete journeyman. He's playing with every team in the league, it seems like. Tampa Bay from 2028 to I'm sorry, 2008 to 2011. Tampa Bay. 49ers in 2012. Then Cleveland the same year. Bengals. He played with the Bengals, so he's getting another stint with the Bengals. 2013, went back to the 49ers in 2014, back to the Bengals in 2015, Jets 2015 lost to the Colts, Buffalo in 2015. Look at those teams he played for in 2015. 2016 was in Baltimore, 2016 Giants as well, Houston was 2017, Raiders in 2018, Washington in 2018, 2019 Detroit, back to the 49ers 2020, back to the Jets in 2021, back to Baltimore in 2021, to Denver in 2022, back to the 49ers in 2023. with the Ravens. Spent 2 years with the Ravens again, 2023 to 2024. Back in Washington last year. Played their last game of the season, and now he's back with the Bengals. That's crazy. He's had 1, 2, 3 stints with the Bengals, 1, 2, 3 stints with the Baltimore, 2 stints in Washington, 1, 2, 3, 4 stints with the 49ers. I mean, unbelievable. I mean, that's crazy. 2 stints with the Jets, but then played the Giants since we played with both New York teams. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Like I said, the Jets traded Justin Fields to the Chiefs in exchange for a 2027 6th-round pick. Like I said, he'll be over there backing up for Mahomes. Or might even get to play a little bit too in case Mahomes is ready to start the season. Let's see. Dallas Goedert, he signed a 1-year deal to stay with the Philly. Good for him. Christian Kirk signs with the 49ers on a 1-year, $6 million deal. And let's see, Hollywood Brown signed with the Eagles on a 1-year deal. It's another receiver over there. Carson Wentz re-signing with the Vikings on a 1-year deal. He was playing there last year. Andy Dalton was traded to the Eagles. He's been around for a while. He was with the Saints, the Bengals, now he's with Philly now. Let's see. Eagles are trading Sidney Brown and picks to the Falcons. He's my guy on Madden. I signed him as a free agent. He's a tackling machine. I love him. That's how I know the name Sidney Brown from playing Madden. He's a beast on there. Philly let him go, and then I signed him, and he's been a beast for me ever since. So, shouts out to him. Justin Smith and Jigba, he gets paid. He gets his contract. He got a 4-year, $168 million extension that makes him the highest paid wide receiver in NFL history. Good for him. He balled out last season, so he definitely deserves his money. Good for him. So yeah, that's pretty much all the news I have for you guys today. Like I said, thank you as I go on this new journey with the Three and Out Renaissance podcast. Like I said, a rebirth, a resurgence of the Three and Out podcast. It was originally on the Three and Out Podcast Network. And I'll be back to talk to you guys about the NFL schedule release, and I'll also get into the draft as well. Some things about the draft. I had them in my notes here, but I'll get into that stuff on the next episode. Oh, a couple more things. Stephon Gilmore, announced his retirement. He's been in the league for quite some time. He announced his retirement, and somebody else retired too. Oh yeah, T.Y. Hilton said he fully announced his retirement. I hadn't heard that name in the longest time. I figured he had been retired, but he officially announced his retirement. Also, Darius Slay, 6-time Pro Bowler, cornerback, Super Bowl champion, after 13 years, announced his retirement. So good for all those guys. Shouts out to them. Hopefully they enjoy retirement. They said there would be no discussion about the tush push at the NFL when they had the NFL owners meeting. So tush push is staying around, and they tried to ban it last season. It didn't work out. To me, it's a glorified quarterback sneak. They put it in Madden this year, so leave the tush push alone. Leave the tush push alone. Let's see. And Mike Tomlin, he's hired by NBC. NBC is hiring former Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin to be a top studio analyst on the Sunday Night Football pregame show. I think Tony Dungy, I believe he stepped away. I guess he'll be taking his spot at 54 years old. They've been eyeing him for a long time to be on TV because he's technically still, since the Steelers didn't fire him, he's still under contract to the Steelers. So if you wanted him, you'd have to like trade for him and negotiate with the Steelers. So basically, he'll be on NBC this upcoming season. Next offseason, if he wants to be a head coach, who knows? I don't know how much years he had left on his contract, but he still has some time left on his original contract. So, but good for him. I'm sure he'll be great on TV. He'll do an amazing job on TV. Another guy that's retired as well, Russell Wilson, he announced his retirement. He'll be joining CBS on their broadcast as well. So two guys, Super Bowl champions that have been in the league on the head coaching side, the player side, and retired and going the TV route. Good for them. That's all for me. Want to thank you guys. Appreciate you for listening here on this, like I said, new journey of the Three and Out Renaissance podcast. Still figuring out like social media and stuff, but if you just want to follow me, you can follow my main page on Twitter at the Moneymaker Chris on Twitter. I'm at Moneymaker Chris on Twitter, and then my Instagram is DC Sports Fan 23. I'll have socials for this podcast, but I'll just update them. I hope I'll have them for the next go around. So just follow those social media accounts for the time being. Also, TMC podcast. That's my other podcast that I do. I do all my interviews and stuff on there. Got to do an interview later on today. Kind of variety of people on there this season. I've had D'Lo Brown to kick off the season. I've had people from Booker T's Reality of Wrestling. I've had Lady Frost on, Killer Kelly. I mean, amazing amount of people that I've been able to interview. Definitely check that out. TMC Podcast 1 on Twitter, all over social media, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, Facebook. Just look up TMC Podcast 1. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, website www.tmc-podcast.com. All the episodes are up there as well, so support that show too. But you guys take care, be safe as always, and I will see you next time. Peace.
We need some healing, I work through the pain. I like seeing gains, I keep my head down, buried, walk through the flames. Yeah, I do this every day, even when I feel drained. A true man pushes through, you don't hear complaints. No, I don't wanna stay the same, yeah. So I keep pushing through the pain, yeah. That's the only way to make a change, yeah. So I fight every day and train, yeah. It'll all be worth it, one day it'll all be worth it. So I keep pushing through the pain, yeah. That's the only way to make a change, yeah. I've had enough, I'm making my own luck. Adrenaline, my drug, I'm sick of feeling stuck. I got this, yeah, I got this. Will not quit to the top, I promise. 'Cause I've had enough.